Let's check in with the state of the Spurs fan base for another fan episode and catch up with some Locked On Spurs fan comments.
You are Locked On Spurs, your daily San Antonio Spurs podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, this is Hot Rod.
And I'm RC from the Cybertron Spurs.
And you're listening to Locked On Spurs with Jeff Garcia.
Hey, welcome back to Locked On Spurs, right here on the Locked On NBA Network. I'm your host, Jeff Garcia, Spurs writer for Ken's 5 San Antonio. Follow me on X at Jeff G Spurs Zone. Hey, this episode is brought to you by FanDuel. You want to go to FanDuel right now, everybody. Make every moment more with FanDuel. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. That's $150 if your bet wins. Go to FanDuel.com/LockedOn to get started. Hey, what are we talking about today? We're going to be having a fan, Chris Leija. He makes his return to rep the fan base on this fan episode of Locked On Spurs. And then we're going to dive into some Locked On Spurs fan comments later on. Just a quick heads up. Unfortunately, he could only do an audio interview, so it will be an audio only. And so after this little segment here, we're going to get into some discussions with basically the fan base. Leija's going to rep it. So we're going to see what he has to say about a few things Spurs fans are talking about. But before we do that, quickly want to catch up with some Spurs news and notes that you may have missed. Louis Vuitton, I think y'all heard about this. They have teamed up with Spurs Victor Wembanyama as the newest ambassador. Yeah, so I mean, you know, that Wemby effect is in full effect in San Antonio. You're looking at bringing a major label like that to the city. There's billboards that have been popping up with him and Louis Vuitton. So expect him to be wearing some very fancy smancy, outfits pregame. My favorite one so far has been the Snake Eyes look. You know, I mean, I don't think you need to know why I like that already with all this going on behind me. But he had a snake eye, literally black mask with black goggles, dressed in all black, ahead of the Toronto game during the first leg of the rodeo road trip. But yeah, there you have it. Wemby and the French fashion house, Louis Vuitton, just makes sense. So congratulations to Wemby. Also, congratulations to Blake Wesley. He saw his high school jersey retired during the All-Star break. Kudos to him. I recently had a chance to talk to him about that moment, and he said that he was very grateful that he thanked his family, everybody who helped him to get there. So kudos to him. And it wasn't just that about the high school giving back to him by retiring his jersey. He also donated his time and food to the local fire department back in his neighborhood. So kudos to him. So congratulations to Blake Wesley. Also, I had a chance to talk to Spurs Chief Impact and Belonging Officer, Dr. Kara Allen, over this past weekend. The Spurs Give and several other organizations helped redo and reinvigorate the South Side basketball court. It was a great night or day, I should say. And everybody showed up, the county, a DJ, local athletes in the city South Side. But I had a chance to catch up with Dr. Allen, and we talked about Spurs Give and just the franchise itself giving back to the community. And one thing they're emphasizing is safe spaces to play and sheltered from the elements. So instead of an outdoor court, it can get hot in San Antonio, they now have it covered. And they went above and beyond that. Spurs Give paved the parking lot and donated brand new bathrooms, the renovations for the bathroom, make it kind of up to snuff, up to grade. And they're not done. Up next is the Kingsborough Park in San Antonio. That'll be the next basketball court to get the silver and black upgrade, which includes, brand new court, Spurs theme center court on the backboards. They have the Spurs logo. They have it all. So congratulations to the Spurs Give, everybody who's involved in that effort. Dr. Karen Allen for taking some time to chat with me about the Spurs Give's effort and getting people out there, getting the kids out there active and playing safe and covered away from the harsh elements during the hot summer days. So you can check out that interview and everything we talked about on kens5.com/Spurs. So you can't miss it. It's a big picture of Victor in a big puffy Louis Vuitton outfit and jacket there. So go check it out. All right, coming up next, Chris Leija. He is going to be repping the Spurs fan base today on this fan episode of Locked On Spurs. And we're going to be discussing the state of the Spurs fan base. What is everybody talking about? And then get into some Locked On Spurs fan comments. But first, I want to talk to you about FanDuel. Get buckets with your first bet at FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Because right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. That's $150 if your bet wins. Bet on all your favorite NBA players and teams with quick bets. Same live game parlays. Also, exclusive props and more. Look, I got the app. It's a great way to stay more into the action during this NBA season. Hey, look, your Spurs are in action. What better way to have fun with that team than joining FanDuel right now, America's #1 sports book. Just visit FanDuel.com/lockedon to shoot your shot. FanDuel, official sports book partner of the NBA. Up next, I want to talk to you about LinkedIn Talent Solutions. Hey, when you're hiring for your small business and you want to find quality professionals that are right for the role, what better way to go find that at LinkedIn Talent Solutions? That's why you have to check out LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn Jobs has the tools to help you find the right professionals for your team faster and for free. LinkedIn isn't just another job board. LinkedIn has a vast network of more than 1 billion professionals, which makes it the best place to hire. It gives you access to professionals that you can't find anywhere else. LinkedIn does all that while making the process easy and intuitive. Hiring is easy when you have so many quality candidates. So easy, in fact, that 86% of small businesses get a qualified candidate within 24 hours. LinkedIn knows that small businesses are wearing so many hats and might not have time or the resources to hire. Look, 2.5 million small businesses use LinkedIn for hiring. You should too. They even just launched a new feature to help you write job descriptions, making the process easier and quicker. Post your job for free at LinkedIn.com/LockedOnNBA. That's LinkedIn.com/LockedOnNBA to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. And we're now joined by our good friend. He is repping the fan base today, Chris Leija, making another return right here on Locked On Spurs. He's going to be repping the fan base. You make sure you want to check him out on X at CLeija3. And don't forget about MCS General Contracting. He'll talk about that later on the show. Chris, welcome back.
What's up? What's up, everybody? Man, thank you for having me back, Jefe. I appreciate
Not a
it.
problem. We should clarify to let everybody know out there. Just because it's labeled a fan episode, it's not a shot. What it is that it's just you're repping the fan base. So basically, everybody right, exactly. Basically, how this works, everybody, is Chris is going to represent what is going on with the fans. Look, I wish I could bring every single fan in the whole Spurs universe, but I can't do that. So somebody has to come in and rep them. So usually we'll tap on Chris's shoulder. He'll come on. He'll tell us what's going on with the fans. So just to clear up any air, Leija, it's not a shot towards you at all.
But you know me. I don't catch feelings. We don't worry about that. It's all I know what it is around here with you, Jefe. We know how it works. So
yeah,
people tend to see things sometimes and try to make something out of nothing.
Exactly.
Like, I'm not an expert, so calling it a fan episode makes the most sense too. So.
Yeah, exactly. Look, somebody's got to rep the fan base, so it might as well be somebody who's in touch with the fan base like you are.
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, let's go to dive into it. Again, this is an audio-only portion with Chris. Unfortunately, he is at work right now, so we're going to be a little respectful for his time. So we're going to try to get him in, get him out as quick as possible. Chris, fans, I guess maybe in a good way, are seeing the return of the Spurs as the beginning of the end of the season, because there's only about a couple months left. And then that's it. That's all she wrote. Season will be over. But heading into the stretch run, heading into these final couple months-ish of the Spurs season, where are Spurs fans at right now with this team? Are they kind of already throwing their hands up in the air, or you still have those that are saying, no, we can still win. We can rack up wins right now?
Yeah, man. So the way I've seen it lately, you still have your part of your fan base that still wants to see your team get some victories, and I completely understand that, because obviously you don't want to end up with a worse record than what we had last year. Right? You don't want to have Wemby's rookie season end up being the Spurs' worst season record, right? So they're like, come on, we got to get some more wins. You got some fans who are like me. I'm already, looking at, okay, what's going to happen in the off season? What are we going to do? What kind of moves we're going to make? And there's some fans that are at that point too. They're like, you know what? It is what it is. The season's gone. There is no making the play in. There's no making the playoffs. So why even, stress about it at this point? Obviously, you still want to see the team, succeed in a sense where you want to see players doing good. You want to see Jeremy be more consistent. Some people want to see Devin be more consistent, and the same with Keldon. They want to see these guys, put up consistent numbers, and do good. Whether that translates to victories or not is to be seen. What do we have? 30 games left or under 30 games, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So some fans want to see the team go 500 in this last stretch of the season. That would, put the team, I think, at 24, 25 wins maybe.
Right.
I think fans would be, okay with that. But for the most part, a lot of the fans are looking into the offseason already. We just got done with All-Star Weekend. And what did we see? We saw Trae Young sitting right next to Wemby, and they're chopping it up, laughing, having a good time. And every little thing Spurs fans see now, we're gonna turn it into, yep, Trae's coming to San Antonio. and I'm on that, and I'm on that train personally, man. I am on the bring Trae Young to San Antonio train. So, you see these videos, you see them, laughing it up, having a good time, and who knows, man? We all gotta wait and see when the season is over, and see, what the draft lottery is going to do for the Spurs. Because obviously we're going to be a draft lottery team. So let's see what pick we end up there. What are we going to get? A Charlotte pick? No, probably not. Are we going to get that Raptors pick? Maybe. There's still a lot of unforeseen things that are going to have to happen before we see what this team really can put together for a trade pack. I've seen people say, give them 5 picks. Who cares? Give them whoever they want. Make it happen.
Yeah. I'm glad you brought up Trae Young. That was on kind of my outline here for you. Does it feel like most fans want this to happen, want this deal to happen to bring Young to San Antonio? Or do you have some that push back saying, no, what are y'all crazy? Trae Young, he plays no defense. He's undersized. If you're going to balance it on the scales, where do fans usually land on that topic?
If you had asked me a couple weeks ago, I think it was, 40% fans saying they want it, 60% fans saying they didn't want it because of the things you bring up where they're like, oh, Trae Young doesn't play defense. But I think now after this All-Star weekend, man, I think that's flipped. I think there's more fans on the side of, maybe we should try to push for Trae Young. Because, it's not just going to be the Trae Young piece coming in. Obviously, the Spurs still need to make a couple more moves. You need another big man to come in. Zach Collins may be out the door, and you got to bring somebody else in. So it's not just going to be Trae Young that's going to be coming in. Jeremy Sohan plays, a pretty good. He's a pretty good defensive player. His offensive numbers obviously still need work, but on the defensive side, he can lock up LeBron. I mean, yeah, LeBron's up there in age, but he does play good defense. And when you look at what Wemby does when he holds down the fort, down in the paint. I mean, in any point, he can guard any position if he really wanted to, because he's just the way he moves, how tall he is, obviously, the length that he has. Some people kind of put that Trae Young defensive thing, kind of on the back burner. They want to see those lobs to Wemby. They want to see him feeding Wemby down in the paint. So right now I see it more. People are kind of more on the let's try to get Trae Young. Some people still are like, well, it's going to cost too much.
Yeah.
And what does cost too much really mean when it comes to a Trae Young who's 25 years old?
Yeah.
It's obviously when people were talking about Dame Lillard last season in the summer, it was he's too old. He's up there in age. You're giving up way too much. But when it comes to Trae Young, he's 25. You look at him and Wemby, 25 and 20. I mean, they got potentially, maybe 10 years of playing together if it goes that way. If they can bring in some pieces and his team starts winning and starts producing those playoff runs and maybe starts producing those championship runs, and then you see it as, hey, 5 first-rounders for me, I'm like, hey, for Trae Young, I know there's a limit on how many picks you can trade, and I think it is 5 first-rounders. You give them back what they lost or the DeJounte trade. Because if they do blow it up, that pick that they get back could hold a lot of value next year or, the years to come. So, there's some fans that are already looking to that 2025 draft and speaking of players that could come up, in that class, and I'm like, man, let's just get through this one season first. Don't tell me about 2029 either. Don't go too far out.
I look at the Spurs fan base, and it to me it does feel like everybody's kind of already checked out of the season. It is what it is for the most part. There those ones that are still hanging on, but majority of Spurs fans they know what it is. I want to ask you, and this might open up a whole can of worms here, but
do it.
collectively, do you think Spurs fans, all of them, well, no matter what side of the fence they land on, have the front office, Brian Wright, on the clock this offseason? Like, they better make a move or all Spurs fans are going to be throwing their TVs out the windows and flipping tables and arguing?
Oh, man, that's a good one because, I'm on the side of the clock started, already for Brian Wright. And there's a lot of people that are on the same side of, hey, do something. Collectively, man, I don't want to say that everybody is on the side of, hey, you got this off season. If you don't do anything, you got to go. Because there's still, like I said, there's still some fans that are looking into that 2025 draft and thinking, oh, well, what about the players that can draft then? And but some people need to understand as well is a lot, and I mean a lot, can happen from now till then. You see kids that, get injured. I think this season you had, who was it? I think 2 players that were considered, top 10 picks that got, some injury time this season, whether it was a knee or, a shoulder, whatever it was. They were getting banged up. And I'm on the side of, why are we going to wait? I think, so last season, the offseason, everybody was thinking, we don't know what Wemby's going to do. But the way I saw it was, if he's supposed to be this generational talent, maybe they're right, bring in a bunch of players. But I was, at the beginning, I was like, you know what, let's wait and see. But after, the first couple months, I was I switched real quick, and I was like, I'm not afraid to admit, I flipped sides. I was like, you know what, bring players. Because Wemby is that guy. He is him, as they say. These numbers that he's putting up with talent that's around him. And it's not to knock anybody and say, I don't want people thinking, oh, Chris is just hating on this player, or Chris is just hating on that player. Everybody knows who the player is that I hate the most, and that's that Connor. The guy, I want him gone today, but we got to wait. But, yeah, man, I mean, the talent that Wemby is, who he is, I'm like, we got to do something this season. Yeah. Well, what's the point of waiting one more year? If he's already doing, he's getting these triple doubles, he's averaging a double-double for the season. If he's doing this now, why not make the moves now, this coming season? I think a lot of fans are on that side.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think the Spurs front office, general manager, all that good stuff, they got to do something this offseason. They're sitting on a buttload of cash. How many picks they have, first round draft, second rounders, how many flippable current players on the roster? Yeah, that's still an option, everybody, to make something happen. And because my biggest fear is not necessarily the whole, we don't skip steps. It's not that, but for me, it's, I don't want other young up and coming teams to lap the Spurs. OKC,
exactly.
The Pelicans, the Kings, Dallas, Houston. I mean, they're building something there too. So
why take a chance? Exactly.
Why take a chance? Let's get the ball going. I'm not saying skip steps, but I'm also saying use what you have to make those steps maybe shorter and get things going. But yeah, it is interesting, because this is the final stretch run of the season. Everybody's gonna start looking forward to the draft. Here we go again. It's considered a weak draft. Not many power players in it. I would rather see the Spurs trade out of the first round. To go pick up more picks or package it and send it to a team getting a player that can make it an immediate impact next season. But yeah, it looks like the Spurs fans definitely have a lot on their mind. And thankfully, that's why we got Chris Leija here and to tell us what's going on in the corner of the Spurs world. And that is who makes up the Spurs, and that is the fans, because you guys come first. He is Chris Leija with MCS General Contracting. Follow him on X at CLeija3. Do that right now, because if you do have contracting cement issues or just want to get an idea of what he can provide, his MCS General Contracting, best way to do that is on his X at CLeija3, but he'll brag about his company later on. When we get back, we're going to be discussing you guys, Locked On Spurs fans, who have been leaving a couple comments on the Locked On YouTube page. And there's one comment that I think Leija will definitely love to bite into in a few seconds. That's coming up next right here on Locked On Spurs. Hey, I want to talk to you about eBay Motors. Passion, drive, and patience. That's what brings home the winning trophy and what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to the peak performance, from superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed or power or style, eBay Motors has you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. Look, with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need and the prices you want, it's easy to turn your car into the MVP and bring home that win. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. ebaymotors.com. Go there right now. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit only available to customers in the U.S. Also want to talk to you about Mudslingers Drive-Thru Coffee. You want to go to Mudslingers Drive-Thru Coffee right now if you're in San Antonio, 2404 Thousand Oaks Drive, open every day from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. You need a latte? They got it. You need a Red Bull infused Lightning Bolt series drink to get your day going? They got that too. You need a regular coffee like the Mudslinger, their signature coffee? They have that there. Cold brew, everything you can think of, you have it covered only at Mudslingers Drive-Thru Coffee. Look, they're a proud local community member. They proudly serve the San Antonio community. They're a proud sponsor of Locked On Spurs. And hey, a friendly staff, an extensive menu, mini donuts, the list goes on and on. They got it all. Go to San Antonio's very own Mudslingers Drive-Thru Coffee right now. They're very active on social media, on X, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram. Pick a platform there. Their threads, they're there too. At Mudslinger, SATX. That's all one word. Look, they have even drinks like dairy alternatives, or if you want to just take it easy, something not as potent with all that caffeine, hey, they got the OG OJ, one of the best drinks on the menu. I'm a little biased to that because I named it. So here's that. But go to this Mudslingers Drive-Thru Coffee right now, San Antonio, 2404 Thousand Oaks Drive, open every day from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. They're located at the 281 to 1604 area, and rush. Go to Mudslingers. Why? Because life is too short for bland coffee. And we're back right here on Locked On Spurs with Chris Leija. He is repping the fan base on this fan episode of Locked On Spurs. Follow him on X at CLeija3. And also, MCS General Contracting. He'll talk about that in just a few seconds. So, Leija, I figured it's the perfect time, since you are repping the fan base, to talk about what the else fans are talking about on the Locked On Spurs YouTube page. Now, normally I pick about 3, but I think I want to leave it limited to 2. And I'm going to save the best one for last, and you'll see why in just a few seconds. All right. Everybody, full disclosure, he already knows what's about. So I'm giving him time to work up his thoughts here. Okay, so the first comment comes from JC. Now, he's talking about this past All-Star weekend. And he says, hey, and one mixtape players in the dunk contest with G League stars and perhaps legends of the games, that would equal fan satisfaction for the dunk contest. You know, we talked about that in the last Locked On Spurs, Leija. So JC is saying, hey, you know, if NBA players don't want to do it, fine. We'll go find the street ballers. We'll go find G League stars. Yeah. Maybe legends of the game come in, put on the show. Do you think that could solve the boring dunk contest?
Absolutely, man. I don't understand why we don't have, you know, these all-star, you know, great dunkers in the dunk contest every year. Mm-hmm. I mean, to me, the last great dunk contest was Aaron Gordon versus Zach LaVine. And to this
Absolutely.
day, I believe Aaron Gordon got robbed
Yes, he did.
of that championship. But that's a conversation for another day. But yeah, man, I mean, there's so many guys out there, like you said, and one street ballers that I think what's lacking is creativity, right? Because it went from, I think it was Nate Robinson who dunked over, I think it may have been
Dwight
Howard, right? Talking about a guy who is what, 5 foot something, 6 foot, he's small. And you're talking about Dwight Howard, who's a 7-footer, and this year we had guys dunking over, small guys, and it's like, and they were sitting down on a chair. And I'm thinking, I think they brought in Jaylen Brown into the dunk contest. They may have forced his hand maybe a little bit to be part of it. But what did he really do that was a wow moment, right? That was, oh, man, look at that. And, you look at, they brought in someone from the G League to participate like he did last year, and I'm thinking to myself, why do you have to bring him in? We now have stars in the game right now that produce dunks, and like Jaylen Brown, I mean, he put on a glove for a dunk. That was supposed to be his moment, and I'm like, come on, guys, like you stay out of the week to practice dunk, or think of ideas to be creative. But to me, the whole All-Star weekend, to be honest, to me it was just boring. The Rising Stars, that's a good day event. I think people were saying the celebrity All-Star game was more exciting than the NBA All-Star game, and that tells you a lot. 3-point contest was good. You had Steph versus Sabrina for their 3-point shootout. That was great. But dunk contest, snooze fest. All-Star game, to me, snooze fest. I mean, you're putting up 200 some odd points. I'm like, where's the defense? Where is the effort? Where is the try to let's win this game? Let's lock each other down. You're supposed to have what are the greatest players in the league, in the world, showcasing for us. And I mean, it was just boring. The dunk contest, I mean, to me, it's dead. It's whatever. I'm gonna skip it from now on until you start seeing those names that you watch during the regular season that come in and put up these crazy dunks, even in season games. But I mean, Zion Williams could be one that you could say, know what, he has that may not have creativity, but man, when you see him going up and down that court, that aggression, that power, I mean, that could be more exciting. Yeah, it could excite the fans. The fans are booing. I mean, that tells you what the dunk contest is now. If the fans are booing and nobody is reacting, there's not the oohs and the ahs and everybody getting out of their seat, jumping up and down. I mean, they got to do something. Like JC said, bring in those N1 guys, street ball guys, and see what they can do. And it's good for them. It gives those guys more publicity as well. It shines a light on those guys more.
Absolutely.
Obviously, the NBA guys don't want to do it. So
you got to go somewhere.
Yeah, some people blame LeBron for not wanting to do it. Because he's one of those talents that you look at Jordan, Dominique Wilkins, Dr. J, those guys that did it, and then LeBron's like, nah, I don't want to. Like, come on, guy, you're supposed to be the face of the league. The other guys will follow suit. How many guys would not have lined up to be in the dunk contest if LeBron was in it? Whether LeBron wins it or not, just competing against him, I think would have brought out more in guys.
Oh, for sure.
Creative and just put on a show for the fans. At the end of the day, like you said, it's all about the fans. And right now, fans are not happy with it. So we'll see what happens.
Absolutely not. Yeah, absolutely not. Yeah, I would love to. I mean, to see Wemby do it, just because the freak nature of it. Just how far away can he jump from the free throw line? Like how before it with his reach.
Right. Exactly.
Just to see that happening, that'd be great. But we got to move on to comment number 2. But you're actually going to get 2 for 1, Leija.
Do it.
You're going to get just one just popped up while we were recording this episode here. So yesterday's Locked On Spurs guest was Michael Jimenez. Now, everybody knows about him and his wild takes and how often he gets cooked daily daily for everything he says, from hating on San Antonio culture to especially his wild Spurs take and always hating on Sohan. But we have a couple of comments about our guest, and I figured, you know what? I think I'm going to save these for Leija because I think he'd be the authority on these comments / reaction that he's going to give to us. So the first one came from Nicholas. Let me see if I get this right. Nicholas Castango. He says, Michael is not adequate person to produce a reflection about him as a fan. Someone else can answer why fans can't enjoy the process. He's been repeating the same thing all the let's see. Oh my God, he wrote a thesis here, and is unable to reflect about the topic objectively. He's convinced about his belief, and it doesn't end there. Another one is from OP Second 718. He says, "This guy Jimenez drives me nuts," implying that we should have bottomed out earlier, knowing now that we got Wemby. By not doing that, it's absurd. Your boy's getting cooked. Leija, your thoughts?
I tell you what, if Pop were to get fired, you know how he is about Pop. He is about Jeremy. If he's traded or if Pop were to get fired, he would go on this huge rant. He was the one that told everybody first that we should fire Pop, and we should trade Jeremy. And trade Jimenez, Jimenez is Jimenez, right? That just takes the way he has them for. I believe he does it on purpose because he wants, he wants the attention. But when that attention comes, the clout comes easy. You know he's going to get cooked.
No, he definitely has an agenda, whether it is to generate attention to his show, the Alamo City Sports Podcast on YouTube, or just to rile up the fan base. But, what was interesting, though, is that Jimenez does that 2020 thing, like hindsight's 2020. He's saying, like for example, the guy, the commenter, OP Second 718 says, implying that we should have bottomed out earlier, but then probably missing out on a chance on Wemby. I think Jimenez is fun. I'm good that he has a thick skin, but
for sure.
Yeah, exactly. But every time I have him on Lockdown, I get messages that people saying like, "Why is he on here? Why is he on here?" I mean, even you got questioned about like why are you coming on a fan episode. The person didn't understand what the concept of it is, but like they were like taking a shot at Jimenez, saying what he doesn't get a fan episode or something like that. So, my God, they got
want to call him an expert,
yeah, like that, yeah. But
when it comes to Jimenez, right? Last season he was, super team tank. Fans that told him, no, man, tanking is not good. Like it creates a losing culture, is what people call it. Mm-hmm. And look at this season, and it's like you can't be team tank. Team either produce a lot of wins. You got to take a step back and say, you know what? Well, they lost a lot of games that season. But they gave up in the third and fourth quarter.
Yeah.
What's the story?
Well, there you have it. Leija loves to cook Jimenez, and he definitely did it right here on Locked On Spurs. Hey, Leija, we got to know about MCS General Contracting. What is that about? How can City of San Antonio find you guys? What services do y'all provide?
So you can find us on Twitter at GC. You can email us at estimating@mcs-gc.com. What we do is we provide concrete services here in San Antonio. And we're just busy. We're at the moment talking to 2 new companies, trying to, expand our growth here in the city. Growing, man, because at the end of the day, we got to make the money. I want to start showing off my 1099 too, like Jimenez.
Exactly. Follow him on X at CLeija3. And once again, Chris, we thank you for representing the fan base on this fan episode of Locked On Spurs. Hey, everybody, we thank you for making Locked On Spurs your first listen each and every day, free and available wherever we get podcasts. We'll be back tomorrow. More Spurs talk as the Spurs are going to be back in action soon or later this week. Locked On Sports Today, 24/7 channel streaming only on YouTube. Locked On Sports Today. Go subscribe to that right now. So for Chris Leija, I am Jeff Garcia. We're going to put a lock on this episode of this fan episode of Locked On Spurs.